Hi everyone, welcome back to Beta Aquatics PH. This is my 35-gallon planted tank I set up 3 months ago using ordinary garden soil instead of buying an aqua soil, which is a lot more expensive. I'm using here what we call low-tech aquatic plants, which are not difficult to grow and maintain. As you can see, they are growing healthy because their roots are getting enough nutrients from the soil underneath those pebbles. My lighting here is just a 9 watts LED tube light I got from a local hardware, and it only cost me a little over $4 or 200 pesos plus. I'm also using here a small top filter with only 12 watts submersible pump. So here it is after 6 months, and those plants are growing dense and healthy due to the soil underneath. Every week I do around 20% water change. I just have to be careful in adding the new water so I will not uproot some plants or displace the pebbles, exposing therefore the soil at the bottom. So overall, this is very easy to maintain because I don't have to remove the setup and wash everything like many beginners do when cleaning their aquarium. So it's my plan for this setup to stay here as it is until perhaps the day of the apocalypse. This is a plain garden soil, no rice hull or anything organic that can decompose in the water and cause an ammonia spike. I'm also checking for bugs or worms, and I'm getting rid of any debris or fiber that I find. These are the hardscape materials. Just refrain from using an acidic rock like corals from the sea. So I plan to use these slate rocks to create a higher ground inside the tank. I have these different stones here. I also have these nice drift foods that has been soaked in the water for almost 4 months already. I have these different pebbles or gravels and this white sand to create a path inside the tank. I first wanted to create this elevated ground or higher ground inside my tank where I could also put some plants on it. So I find this slate very helpful, especially in closing some gaps. And starting to surround it with other stones to make it look natural and really nice. I'm now starting to put the pebbles or gravels to seal or close the tiny gaps between the rocks, and also these stones to form an enclosure so as to keep the gravels inside. So here is the garden soil on top of the pebbles. So that is where our aquatic plants will get their nutrients from. We don't want a loose soil, so I'm pressing it a bit to make it compact and more stable. So I'm now starting to put pebbles on top of such soil, so we don't want that soil to be exposed directly with our water. So we want that pebbles on top to keep the soil underneath. So I'm starting also to put some soil at the very bottom of our tank where I plan to put some aquatic plants or to plant our aquatic plants. So I'm pressing it again. So more garden soil at the very bottom. So I'm starting here also to press it once again and make it more compact. So here are some gravels at the very front, also more gravels to cover the sole so as to lock it on the bottom and make it stay at the bottom. So I'm starting to arrange some driftwoods and rocks inside. So here it is now. So here is my jungle vallisneria that I propagated on my little pond. So this is a good background inside the tank. So I'm planting it on its individual stem, and I'm also arranging the driftwood. And also I have this Java fern and few plants that I plan to put on that elevated place or ground. So I have this fern here at the bottom and more plants on that upper ground, like that sunset. I will also plant this Rotalia and also Bacopa plant, and later I will plant some Stricta on such upper level and on the lower ground as well. So just continue watching, guys, as I put some more plants on that tank to make it more beautiful. That's the Stricta plant there, and of course I put some rocks beside it, make it more appealing to the eyes. I'm also starting to make a pathway with this white sand. So I'm forming that pathway. So that will add to the beauty of our tank. So I'm now filling it up with our water. So as you may notice here, I use some plate. I put some plate on the bottom just to make sure that our pebbles and sand will not be disturbed. So the tank is now filled with water. So I have noticed that some plants need some rearranging, and I'm straightening up its leaves. On the first few hours, our water will look very cloudy like this, and this is just normal. But after 5 to 6 hours, if your filtration is also good, your water will become very clear afterwards. This video here is already on its 6 months, and I already trimmed the plants to give room for my fish to swim. So if you learned some ideas from this video, guys, please don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching.